I am the monster, rah rah rah. I am the monster, rah rah rah. I am the monster, I am the monster, I am the monster. Rah,
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Spencer Penrod. I am a world builder. I make worlds for stories and D&D campaigns, things like that. Today I'm going to be going back into Epic the Musical. Today we're on the Thunder Saga. Last time we just finished up the Underworld Saga, where Odysseus went there to the Underworld to seek help from a prophet who basically said, "You're not getting help from me." And Odysseus kind of resolved to be more cruel because it seemed like he needed to become a monster to get home. We got some idea on what kind of challenges he's going to face from the background choir. But some of those were challenges and some of them were less challenges and more just points in history that are going to happen, presumably. So it'll be interesting to see how many of those we start resolving today. Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Don't you miss me more than you know? Then jump in the water and kiss me.
Okay, so we haven't heard Penelope sing yet, I don't think. Maybe we've heard her sing a little bit, actually. In either case, we don't know what's going on. They've just left the underworld, as far as I can tell. But immediately having someone, presumably Penelope here, saying, "Jump in the water to kiss me," that raises all kinds of red flags. We knew that the underworld messed with their perceptions somewhat and kind of taunted them. But I wonder if there's something else similar to that happening, because I wouldn't think that this is how she would greet him. And I also wouldn't think this is how they would introduce their reunion if he was actually home. So I'm thinking this is some kind of mirage or monster that takes on the form of loved ones or something like that.
Penelope, I've told you this before. You know I'm afraid of the water. I'll make sure that you are safe and sound. Come play with me and our daughter, and let's watch our love leave the ground. Oh, I would, but I'd be suffering trying to float the whole time.
So, there's been no mention of a daughter so far, which makes me wonder if that's just been kept from us, or if this is supposed to be a sign that whatever is taunting him here hasn't really learned enough about him and is getting details wrong. Like maybe it's just supposed to be a red flag. That's my guess.
Sounds right here, I'm just fine. I can take the suffering from you. You know that I prefer my feet on the ground.
This also seems like Odysseus definitely knows something is up and is kind of taunting whatever this is in turn, because I feel like he wouldn't hesitate to go to her. And we haven't heard of him being afraid of water. I guess it's not outside the realm of possibility that he is. But even if he was afraid of water, I feel like if Penelope was really here, he would be begging her to come to him and not just like, "Yeah, I'm fine here. It's all good." His attitude doesn't seem to line up with what we would expect for their reunion. So he seems like he knows that this isn't right.
Fine, but only if you answer answer a question or two?
Of course.
Okay, so let's say I was on the run, or hiding, from, I don't know, Poseidon. And let's say he blocked the way home with giant waves and giant storms.
Oh no.
How am I to evade him? How am I to get home? Which route should I take? Where am I supposed to go?
He will chase you high and low, so find a place he'd never go. The one way you'll get home is sailing where he's scared to roam. Oh, it's through the Lair of Scylla.
No.
This is your only way home.
Okay, the claw-like fingernails sharpened with a starfish are definitely more points that this is like a monster or something, in case anyone was still on the edge there. We don't know what Scylla is so far. I think we've heard it mentioned. I think we heard it mentioned by the choir at least, but I thought we might have heard it mentioned before that as well. Whatever it is, though, it's interesting because it seems to scare off Poseidon, who is a god. You wouldn't think they're scared off by much. So I wonder if Scylla is another god or some kind of ultra-powerful monster that is terrifying even to gods.
Lair of Scylla.
But Scylla has a cost.
Well, you asked and now you know. Now jump in the water.
Penelope, why? You know I'm too shy and terrified.
I would take the suffering from you.
Ooh, for you I would die, but can't you let me stay
I
dry?
can take the suffering from you.
You should come onto the ship. We'll jump at the same time.
I will take the suffering from you.
The things I do for you.
Yeah, so readying a bow because he knows this is definitely like a monster or something. Also, a little bit of spoilers here in the end, I guess, that it's the Sirens they're dealing with. Not a terrible surprise, but cool to see some of the hints towards that from the animation, at least.
Let's cut the charade. You are no wife of mine. You've been trying to take my life this whole time. I know underwater there are packs of you hiding. Yeah, I know exactly what you are. A siren. My real wife knows I'm not scared of the water. And my real wife knows I don't have a daughter. But while you were so focused on turning my men into snacks, you didn't notice that your friends got snatched.
What?
We are a different beast now. We are the ones who feast now. No more of us deceased, cause we won't take more suffering from you. We are the man-made monsters. We are the ones who conquer. You are a threat no longer. We won't take more suffering from you. We've been
So, in the last series, the last saga, we kind of saw his men acting judgmentally, calling him a monster, but now it seems like they're all on board with it. So I wonder if he just managed to sway them, or if maybe I was reading wrong into their reactions before. But it seems like everyone now is pretty hardened to the idea of doing cruel things. And that they're going to need to become monsters themselves in order to get home. It's also interesting that they managed to round up the entirety of the Sirens, it sounds like, from in just the time that Odysseus was distracting this one. It makes me wonder how they did that. The implication is that they just used a fishing net, but the Sirens are intelligent creatures, so it would be weird for them to all get caught that way. I feel like it is. We've seen that these ships are more maneuverable than you would expect. So maybe as Odysseus was singing, they were actually maneuvering kind of crazy. And just going around to catch the sirens in different places. In either case, it's weird they managed to do it without this main siren noticing, though. It's just maybe just a thing speaking to their skill and craftiness.
Been away from home for about 12 years or so. First we slayed in our own war, and now we're here with more foes. While on the run from Poseidon, we found a ship with no crew. I realized nearby there were sirens, singing sailors to their dooms. We filled our ears with beeswax, that's how we resist your song. You pretended to be my wife, so I just played along. I read your lips and phrases, scanning for information. Sirens know about every route and horizon. Now I know how to get back to my island.
We are a different beast now. We are the ones who feast now. No more of us deceased, 'cause we won't take more suffering from you. We are the man-made monsters. We are the ones who conquer. You are a threat no longer. We won't take more suffering from you.
Spare us, oh spare us please.
Why? So you can kill the next group of sailors in this part of the sea? Nah, you wouldn't have spared me. I made a mistake like this, it almost cost my life. I can't take more risks of not seeing my wife. Cut off their tails! We're ending this now. Throw their bodies back in the water. Let them drown.
He is a different beast now. He is the one who feasts now. No more of us deceased, 'cause he won't take more suffering from you. He is the man-made monster.
So, like, obviously, there's a difference between being a monster, being someone who's needlessly cruel, and being someone who's ruthless and not willing to spare enemies. It seems like Odysseus is really going hard in the direction of actually being a monster. Because, like, the way he wants to finish these guys off is just so cruel. And also unsure. Like, this gives them the chance to potentially survive. So it seems like he's learned the lesson of cruelty, but not necessarily the lesson of why ruthlessness could be wise in some circumstances. He's not taken the wisdom that Athena was trying to impart with that lesson, and he's just kind of become broken and hard and cruel instead.
He is the one who conquers. You are a threat no longer. He won't take more suffering from you.
Kill them all! Kill them all! Kill them
Odysseus.
It's also interesting that he chooses to drown them to kill them, because you would think that creatures that live in the water, like sirens, would be able to breathe underwater. If they can't, that tells us that either their gills were on their tails, or that they're just a very unfortunate type of creature, because they didn't seem to have the build to be able to get by on land, but they also seem to need land, or at least air, in order to breathe. Maybe they're like dolphins or something that do need air, but can hold their breath for really long times. I guess that would make sense.
The Lair of Scylla. is our only way home. Deep down,
You're quiet today.
deep down. Not much to say. Deep down, you hide a reason for
I gotta see.
I wonder why we're hearing women singing deep down. There's not really anyone here to sing that. No reaction to who that could be. So is it like some memory of the Sirens or something? It's strange to hear the singing without anyone nearby.
Secret I can no longer keep. Deep down,
you know that we are the same.
I opened the windbag while you were asleep.
Leaving them feeling betrayed, breaking the bonds that you've made.
I'm so sorry.
There is no price we won't pay.
Forgive me.
We both know what it takes to survive.
Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead.
Deep down, we only care for ourselves. Eurylochus, light up 6 torches. Deep down, we're lonely demons from hell.
Captain, something approaches.
Hello.
Has it just been the Scylla singing the whole time then? It'd be weird for them not to react to that. Like, generally, I don't think we've heard singing that people aren't meant to be hearing. I wonder if that means anything. Also, this is a terrifying creature so far.
Roar for your love! Ride in your sorrow and fears. Choke on your blood and your tears. Bleed till you run out of years. We must do what it takes to survive. Give up your honor and faith. Live up your life as a right. Die in the blood where you bathe. We must do what it takes to survive. We are the same, you and I.
It's weird that they got through that with apparently minimal losses. Like, comparatively speaking, at least. You would think that something that's fearsome enough that Poseidon wouldn't want to brave its lair would do more than just take a few men. Like, it didn't even wreck the ship or come close to it. I wonder if that's just meant to speak again to this insane maneuverability that we've seen on these ships, or the skill of the crew in directing it, or if it's really just kind of been overblown how dangerous this thing is.
Both know what it takes to survive.
Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead. Full speed ahead.
Eurylochus.
Let's see here. Mutiny. I think we're halfway through already. Or no, we've only got 2 left. Wow. I'm not having much to say to these today. I feel like we've seen so many hints towards the lore of this world so far. now we're just kind of cashing it in. And there's not much to say other than like, oh yeah, we were right about this thing, or here's this thing we've been worrying about, and it's shown on screen, and there's not much to say about that. So that's kind of interesting. Feels like maybe these last few epic videos might go faster than the first ones.
Tell me you did not know that would happen. Say you didn't know how that would end.
He says that, but like from the moment they heard about Scylla, Odysseus said there would be a cost. Though I guess everyone had their ears plugged, so maybe they didn't hear that, and he just lied to them the whole time. Though I don't understand why, unless he lied about them, or lied to them about where they were going, and no one knew they were going to Scylla in the first place, how could they hear about this famed monster that even the gods fear and think that they would get by without any casualties? That makes me think they must have thought they were going somewhere else.
Look me in the eyes and tell me, Captain, that you did not just sacrifice 6 men.
Oh, I wonder if that's why he wanted them to light 6 torches, is because he wanted the sacrifices like picked out. So are we auto-generated? No, the subtitles are just a little weird. 6 men though, that seems like a really small sacrifice to make to get through. Like that's like an eighth of what they had left, a little over that. But again, this is some creature that even Poseidon fears, so that seems like a really low cost.
Use your wits to try and say I'm crazy and mad. That this is all some trick the gods have sent. Tell me you did not miss home so painfully bad that you gave up the lives of 6 of our friends. When we fought the Cyclops, you were quick to hatch a plan. And when we fought with Circe, it was you who left behind no man. But when we saw this monster, we didn't take a stand. We just ran. Say something! I can't! Then you have forced my hand. You really lower your weapon. No can do. You miss your wife so bad you trade the lives of your own crew.
Don't make me fight you, brother. You know you'd have done the same.
If you want all the power, you must carry all the blame. Eurylochus, Eurylochus, Eurylochus. Odysseus, Odysseus, Odysseus. There is no price he won't pay.
I am not letting you get in my way! My brothers, why?
How are we supposed to trust you now? Now, your time has come, your luck's run out. Now, the time has come to shut you down. You relied on wit, and then we died on it. Whoa.
My head. Where are we?
Some island, the first one we found. It's bursting with cows, just roaming around, begging us to eat. So much meat, and hunger is so heavy. This statue, the god of the sun, don't know where it's from, but here's where we found all these cows too.
Okay, so that's immediately like a huge red flag, right? This is definitely some altar to the sun god. Wait, it did say sun god, right? I'm not going crazy. Yeah. Okay. And these cows are like offerings to it or something. They're gonna get in trouble if they eat them. I feel like the last time that they found somewhere too good to be true, full of food, went very badly for them, and I feel like this is a repeat of that scenario. And it's a little concerning that he seems to be giving into hunger rather than learning his lesson. I mean, I guess hunger is really, really hard to deal with, especially if it's for a whole crew. So, like, I don't terribly blame them, especially because the cows don't seem that marked or claimed. But this feels like a bad idea brewing.
Right in front, and hunger is so heavy. Hunger is so heavy.
Please don't tell me you're about to do what I think you'll do.
Odie, we're never gonna get to make it home. You know it's true.
You don't know that's true. This is the home of the sun god.
I'm starving, my friend.
But if you kill his cattle, who knows what he'll send.
Okay, yeah, Odysseus is definitely on the same page as me. He's like, this is not our food to take, and you are going to regret doing this. But it sounds like the crew is just kind of resigned to dying, and they might as well do it with full stomachs, which is a depressing thought. What does it say that the gods are willing to let these cattle roam and apparently live freely, but would punish someone for taking them anyway? Like, it doesn't seem like the sun god is coming here and collecting or killing all of the cattle, because there's tons of them here just roaming around. So unless it happens in batches and one batch just got dropped off, I feel like it's more about the prestige of owning so many cattle or having so many offerings than it is about actually being able to use them. And the punishment for taking them is because it's basically lessening a meaningless number to the god, not because it was actually going to use them for anything.
This is the home of the sun god.
I'm tired, my friend.
But we're so close to home, this can't be where it ends.
How much longer must I suffer
Please
now?
don't do
How
this.
much longer must I push
I
through
need
doubt?
to get
How
home.
much longer must I go
You
about my
really
life like this when people die like this? Whoa. How much longer must we suffer now? How much longer must we push through
We
doubt?
can get
How much longer must we go about our lives like this when people die like this?
I really guess no!
You've doomed us. You've doomed us all, Eurylochus! Captain?
We need to get away from this island now! Grab an arm with all the strength your arms allow! These cows were immortal. They were the sun god's friends. And now that we've pissed them off, who do you think he'll send?
Okay, well, that feels like rather important information to share. So it's not like it was just the prestige of owning so many sacrifices. It was literally that he made cows immortal to be his friends. That's so sad. I guess maybe not his only friends. Maybe it's more like pets that you really adore. But this is the second time that they've killed feed animal that ends up being someone powerful's friends. I wonder if people in general just view animals in this kind of friendly light. They should really be vegetarians at this point, if every time they try and get meat, they're killing someone's friends. It's definitely not a great move for them to have done that, though. It's also weird that all of these friends were like unguarded, unclaimed, unmarked, and indistinguishable. I wonder how Odysseus knew this, though. Like, maybe he had heard of the island before. He did say they were close to home. So maybe he just knew about the area. But it's really weird for him to not have given a more relevant warning if he knew that information.
We're too late.
All right, and this is the last one of the Thunder Saga. Let's go ahead and see what happens here. I'm imagining I'm not going to have terribly much to say because it's probably just going to be them getting punished by a god. But we'll see. I think I was warned that this is supposed to be happening on a ship, by the way. And so the confusing jump between them being on a ship and now on an island is not indicative of them actually having gotten to an island, but that this whole event is meant to be taking place on a ship. And they just chose an island for the animatic because it's easier or more convenient to animate or something like that. Okay, so that's the god that we saw in the first episode, right? We saw someone kind of making a face out of the clouds. Probably Zeus. He hasn't been named yet, so we don't know for sure. But that's definitely the vibe we're getting. And it looks like this time they're coming back not to warn Odysseus or provoke any particular action, but to punish the action that they have already taken.
Pride is a damsel in distress, hiding away where only I can undress her. Trials she cannot to confess. In the end, it's all the same once I apply all the pressure. Thunder, bring her through the ringer. Show her I'm the judgment call, the one who makes her kingdom fall. Lightning.
So he's talking here about pride basically being his to play with and destroy. But the way that he's framing it is so gross. Like, just like it's some unwilling woman that he's forcing into something. I feel like that tells us a lot about his worldview in general. That this is probably not a very benevolent god, but someone who likes to toy with mortals and especially exploit women. And that he relishes both the process of that exploitation as well as what he views are similar processes, which seems to involve tearing down people's pride. So he is both saying that pride is something that belongs to him and something that he's able to forbid to other people, and also kind of admonishing Odysseus's crew for being too prideful. Like he's saying, you are so prideful, but pride is mine to control. And so I'm going to take it away from you now by punishing you for that.
Wield her, use and gild her. Show her what she can't conceal, for true nature will be revealed. Tell me, Odysseus, if I were to make you choose the lives of your men and crew or your own, why do I think they lose? Enlighten me, King of Ithaca, since hunger was far too great. I wonder who'd take the weight of the damned and suffer a gruesome fate. To the thunder bringer, here to bring your ears until you're deaf with fear, and spear you while your death is near.
So he is saying that not only is he here to punish with them, but like I said before, he's here to like play with his food, to torment them. That he relishes this process of breaking their pride, breaking down who they are, what they feel, and what they've done. And that he views Odysseus the same way that I've kind of commented about him, where his pride is the one thing he hasn't been willing to give away so far. And that pride means that he puts himself above others. It doesn't sound like he's actually giving Odysseus the choice to sacrifice himself for his crew, but it sounds like he believes that if he did, that Odysseus wouldn't do it. I think I'm probably of the same mindset. Like, he cares a lot for his crew, but we've already seen him willing to sacrifice them, like intentionally sacrifice them to Scylla, without any sort of plan other than give up the men and leave. So it's really not outside the realm of possibility that Zeus here is right. But it seems like he's not even giving Odysseus that option, because he's just here to play around and torture and then kill everyone.
Someone's gotta die today, and you have got the final say.
I guess he is giving Odysseus the choice after all. He looks so happy about it too. Like, he's relishing this moment of agony he's going to force Odysseus through. Even if he knows that he's going to choose himself in the end, he knows that having to make that choice is going to be really, really hard on Odysseus. Definitely going to be stressing his I am a monster mentality right away.
You or your crew? Please don't make me do this! Don't make me do this! When does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? Does a rainbow become Captain?
I have to see her.
But we'll die.
I know.
That was a little on the nose, but it's not surprising. I feel like this is a really interesting dichotomy, though. Not the decision. I feel like I'm not very surprised by that in any way. But the way that Zeus frames this as a decision of pride that Odysseus is making, whereas Odysseus himself is viewing it as a decision of like familial love almost, that he loves his wife so much that he's going to do this. I feel like we've seen that dichotomy play out a few times throughout this musical, where someone has kind of pushed Odysseus up against a wall, and he never relinquishes his pride, but he always backs that pride up with this feeling of needing to get home, needing to see his family. It makes him hard to separate and say whether he really is this prideful monster in this moment, willing to sacrifice all of his friends, or if he is someone who really is just so devoted that he's willing to do it. I feel like I definitely lean towards Odysseus being more prideful than he is like faithful. But I definitely see the interpretation that he's selling himself, that it is more out of devotion than selfish pride. But I feel like the gods, or at least this god, isn't buying that, and they're saying that he is choosing this because it is selfish pride. So, one interesting thing of note there at the end was that I think we are seeing that Zeus here is one of the gods with authority over a domain, rather than someone like the god of the wind that we saw, who was actually the thing that they had dominion over. So it's interesting to see that that portrayal. I don't know whether there's some kind of hierarchy among the different types of gods, but it is interesting to point out. And then it's also interesting that this is one of the most casual displays of supreme power that we've seen so far. This explosion is pretty massive for something done so casually. It ripped up the earth, made a crater. It left Odysseus here pretty unharmed. But it seems like Zeus is definitely the most powerful one we've seen so far of the gods, or maybe just showing that the gods are at an even higher level than what we've seen so far, and that Odysseus's constant pissing them off is just really a bad idea, because they are so much greater than what he's even had to deal with so far. But yeah, that is it for the Thunder Saga. Much shorter video than usual. But it was enjoyable to go through. The songs are great as always. And I'm excited to come back next time and see what happens next. I think in the Vengeance Saga, if I'm remembering right. We'll see. With that, though, I will get going. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you're liking the videos and want to see more. I will see you next time.